George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Hey, I've sold a couple of rental properties over the last couple of years and made a bunch of money on each one of those. Can I count my capital gains income to qualify for a loan? Thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com today. This is George Anderson. And there's a lot more people now that seem to be involved in kind of like day trading, real estate investing, and other types of activities that instead of generating, like a corporate profit that would be coming through on a K-1 or dividends or something like that, or a W-2 or a 1099, there's a lot of people that are generating capital gains as a part of their income. So the question is can you count that income if you're qualifying for a loan? Well, the short answer is yes, but a couple of things to consider on here is that sometimes you can get by using a one-year tax return average, and that's if you have somebody that's self-employed, has a business that has been established for at least 5 years. But on capital gains income, that's always going to be a 2-year average. So it's going to be 2 years, and it's going to be based on what you show on the tax return. Typically, that's going to be on Schedule D on a tax return is where your capital gains income is going to be showing. Now, the other thing on that, and I was talking with a gentleman that does day trading, and he's pretty good at it. He's got quite a bit of money in there. Six-figure, a lower low to mid-figure six-figure account for his trading account, and the amount of money that he's making is pretty sufficient on that. But the other aspect about capital gains, and think about that if it makes sense, going back to this scenario that I said with somebody who had a rental property. Sold one in 2019, made some money on that. Sold a different one in 2020, made some money on that. The underwriter's question is going to be, well, what other assets do you have for being able to generate that in the current year? So if he doesn't have a rental property right now, yeah, I've got a 2-year tax return average that he had made the money, and we've got a 2-year average there. But if he doesn't have any inventory that he can sell that would realize a capital gain, then I can't count the income because it's not likely to continue. Same thing if we go back to the brokerage account scenario here, and we've got day trading or stocks, investing, whatever you want, and there is that 2-year history on there. And let's just say that there's $250,000 in the account that's been generating maybe a $50,000 a year income, or just something like that. And you're like, okay, well, great. He finds a house and he wants to put $100,000 down on it. Well, where's the money going to come from? Oh, it's going to come from my brokerage account. Okay, so what's the likelihood that the $150 remaining in the brokerage account is going to generate the same rate of return that he was getting when he had $250? So you've got to sit and think about, on capital gains income, not only do you have to show the income, but you have to show the ability or the assets that are going to remain or continue to be put into the portfolio, or they just have to be there. You can't do it on an expectation. But you've got to show that that's going to continue on there. So that's how you calculate capital gains. But the other thing that's kind of interesting, at least with the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guidelines on capital gains, is that if somebody is showing losses on their income from a Schedule D, which is what we're talking about here with his gains, the schedule is actually capital gains and losses. If somebody had some losses that were going on from stock trading, selling real estate, whatever, on that, I do not have to reduce the income by the amount of the capital losses. So whereas it's a little tougher to be able to document the income this way, you don't get punished if it's going the other way. Whereas if this was a business showing losses, it's not going to be looked at the same way. Those losses are going to be taken into consideration. So hopefully that helps for those of you who are more entrepreneurial and are out there doing stuff to generate the capital gains income. Just something to be aware of. The time to figure these things out, and if you want to use that, is before you file the tax return. So I talk with a lot of people, during the first half of the year. It's like, look, if you're going to be counting any type of self-employment income, let's make sure that we can see that there's a pattern that is going to continue, and that you're not taking every deduction known to man that you might be eligible to take. But if you write down your income down to nothing, don't expect to get something added back to it when you go and purchase a home. So anyway, thanks for coming into the Credit Jungle today. This is George Anderson. Remember, you can push button, get Mortgage Professional, and I'd love to talk with you about your situation. Have a great day.